Have you ever wondered why, in a nation known for its cutting-edge technology, electric cars are so expensive in Japan? We reveal the amazing causes of the exorbitant price of electric cars in the land of the rising sun in this eye-opening film. Are you interested in learning more about the difficulties in obtaining battery sources and the complexities involved in producing electric cars? Are you curious about how infrastructure constraints and government incentives affect the adoption of electric vehicles? Come along on an exploration as we reveal the mysteries surrounding the electric vehicle market in Japan, providing you with knowledge that will change the way you perceive this rapidly developing sector. Play now to discover the reasons why electric cars cost so much in Japan and don't miss out. With its reputation for technological innovation and prowess, Japan appears to be a perfect market for electric vehicles, EVs. But even with the world's electrification trends, Japan's EV adoption rate has been very slow. The expensive cost of electric cars is a major deterrent to their broad adoption. In this video, we explore the variables that lead to the high price of electric cars in Japan, illuminating the subtleties involved in this phenomena. High manufacturing costs. One major issue driving up the cost of electric automobiles in Japan is the high cost of manufacture. Electric car production is a complex process that requires the use of specialized components and advanced technologies, many of which are expensive to produce. For maximum performance and range, advanced materials like lightweight alloys and large-capacity batteries are necessary, although they are frequently more expensive. The production costs are further increased by Japan's well-known reputation for having strict quality standards and rigorous testing procedures. To assure compliance with these strict criteria, manufacturers must make large investments in R&D, which raises the total cost of producing electric vehicles. Furthermore, in the case of electric vehicles in Japan, economies of scale, which typically reduce manufacturing costs through mass production, face constraints. The potential for cost reduction through higher manufacturing volume is limited by the comparatively low demand for electric cars, EVs, in comparison to traditional internal combustion engine vehicles. Because of this, producers find it difficult to realize the economies of scale required to dramatically reduce unit costs. In addition, compared to other markets, Japan has adopted electric vehicles more slowly, which has made it more difficult to realize the cost-saving advantages of mass production. Moreover, adding state-of-the-art features and cutting-edge technology complicates the manufacturing process and raises costs. Modern energy management, regenerative braking, and autonomous driving systems are common in electric cars. These systems call for complex integration and assembly. Furthermore, the incorporation of safety elements like strong cybersecurity and advanced driver assistance systems, ADAS, raises production costs. Manufacturers of electric vehicles are under pressure to keep at the forefront of innovation as the technology advances quickly. This means that in order to stay competitive in the market, manufacturers must continue to spend in R&D and production capacity. Limited battery supply. The high cost of electric automobiles in Japan is mostly due to the problem of limited battery availability. Although Japan is home to significant battery producers like Sony and Panasonic, it still has to contend with fierce competition from other countries to guarantee a steady supply of lithium-ion batteries. The supply chain is further strained by the expanding demand for batteries across a number of industries, including consumer electronics and energy storage, which drives up costs for electric car producers. The creation of batteries is a complex process that entails procuring rare earth minerals and following to strict environmental requirements. These factors add to the manufacturing process complexity and cost. Because of this, the production capacity of electric car manufacturers is restricted and economies of scale are unable to considerably reduce unit costs due to the limited supply of batteries. Furthermore, the fact that Japan produces batteries using imported raw materials increases supply chain vulnerabilities and exposes producers to market and geopolitical threats. Due to its deficiency in substantial sources of vital battery elements like cobalt and lithium, the nation is reliant on imports from foreign vendors, especially those who hold prominent positions in the global supply chain. Because of their reliance on outside suppliers for essential materials, manufacturers are not only sensitive to disruptions in supply, but also to fluctuations in commodity prices. Securing a sustainable and ethical supply of batteries for electric vehicles is made more difficult by worries about the effects that battery production and disposal have on the environment. In addition, the fierce rivalry for battery resources brought forth by the electric car market's explosive global expansion has further strained supply chains and raised costs. To obtain sufficient supplies of premium batteries at competitive rates, manufacturers have to negotiate intricate contractual agreements with battery suppliers. Furthermore, improvements in performance, cost, and energy density depend on technological breakthroughs and advances in battery chemistry. Yet these gains necessitate significant investments in research and development. Through strategic partnerships, domestic battery production investments, and battery technology advancements, Japan can address the challenges posed by limited battery supply, thereby removing a major obstacle to the widespread adoption of electric vehicles and promoting a more sustainable transportation ecosystem. Government incentives and regulations. The adoption of electric vehicles, EVs, in Japan is shaped in large part by government incentives and regulations, which also have a big impact on EV prices. Japan has taken a more conservative stance than other nations when it comes to government subsidies, even if the goal is to encourage the use of electric vehicles and reduce their higher initial costs. Although consumers of electric cars can take advantage of subsidies and tax breaks, the higher cost of EVs is frequently not compensated for by these advantages. The complicated legal system in Japan, which has strict safety and environmental regulations, also increases the cost of compliance for automakers, which drives up the price difference between electric and conventional cars. Furthermore, through affecting customer confidence and market dynamics, government investments in R&D projects and charging infrastructure can indirectly affect pricing by promoting electric vehicle technology. Through an analysis of the interactions between policies, incentives, and regulations from the government, interested parties can learn about the potential and problems facing the Japanese electric car market and work to create a more favorable climate for environmentally friendly transportation. Infrastructure challenges. The lack of adequate infrastructure in Japan is a major barrier to the widespread use of electric vehicles, EVs, and raises the cost of EVs. Adoption is significantly hampered by the inadequate infrastructure for charging electric cars, since buyers can be reluctant to purchase EVs if charging stations are not easily accessible. Although there are initiatives in place to broaden the charging network, development has been rather sluggish, especially in residential neighborhoods and urban regions with dense populations. Moreover, zoning and regulatory restrictions, along with the expense of constructing charging stations, make it more difficult to extend the infrastructure. Furthermore, consumers are made more complicated and may be discouraged from purchasing EVs by the absence of standards and interoperability among charging stations. Government organizations, utilities, commercial businesses, and other stakeholders must work together to invest in charging infrastructure, expedite regulatory procedures, and raise consumer knowledge in order to address these infrastructural issues. Japan can accelerate the shift to sustainable transportation and lower prices for electric vehicles by removing these obstacles and fostering a more favorable climate for their adoption. Japan's high cost of electric automobiles is a result of a number of factors, including high production costs, a shortage of batteries, restrictive government regulations, and difficult infrastructure. Policymakers, industry stakeholders, and consumers must work together to address these systemic concerns. Even though economies of scale and technology developments may eventually help drive down prices, through innovation, infrastructure investment incentives, and consumer education, Japan can surmount the obstacles impeding the mass market uptake of electric vehicles and clear the path for a more sustainable transportation future. Subscribe now to our channel for exclusive insights into the world of electric vehicles in Japan. From uncovering the challenges of infrastructure development to exploring the latest government incentives and regulations, our videos offer in-depth analysis and expert commentary that you won't find anywhere else. Don't miss out on the opportunity to stay informed and empowered. Hit that subscribe button and join us on the journey towards a greener, more sustainable future.